All right, so we're going to talk through what helps us hit targets with 223 at 500 yards when we're looking at ammunition and performance in a rifle. We're talking 223. This is a scaled 12 by 24 inch C-zone target at 500 yards, and I've represented what I think is a good group for an AR-15. Our red circle there is a half inch or half minute of angle center point to help you just conceptualize what that looks like. This gray circle outside here is a 2 minute of angle group, which would be about 10 inches at 500 yards. Now, this is perfect world, which is not actually reality, but that's just pure dispersion. Now, when we start actually shooting bullets, well, we have muzzle velocity, which means we have a standard deviation. So we zero and do our corrections for the average. But what I've done here is I've built a profile for the high side and the low side of a 30-shot string. And with those, we see our actual dispersion at distance just accounting for drop because we have different muzzle velocities coming out the barrel every single time. Our group is actually an oval. It's not round. In this case, we had a 20 foot per second standard deviation, which translated to adding an extra half minute of angle to the group. So the width hasn't changed. That's a function of dispersion or wind, which we're not talking about right now. But the height has. So same width, but it's taller, so it's an oval. So what happens if I have a much worse standard deviation, but the same mechanical precision? Because at 100, muzzle velocity is really not affecting the group size, but you can see, maybe you can see that oval gets a little bit bigger. I've got them side by side. If you look hard, you can tell, yeah, it makes a difference, but it's not an awful lot of a difference. Now that's shooting a 77 grain Match King, which is less sensitive. It's better for shooting at this distance, but not a huge impact. It's not really giving you anything useful. I can't really change how I would aim. I've got the same amount of slop in where I put this dot, higher or lower on the target, versus this here. However, if I go to another example of a really small standard deviation muzzle velocity, but a 3 minute of angle group, now things change dramatically because the mechanical precision getting that much worse now means I'm no longer 100% within the target. It is possible, although less likely, that a bullet falls to the outside edge of the cone of fire, if you will, or precision. And so now my windage hold does have to be perfect. And then I have just a bigger overall spread. So if I move this dot up here, now this circle starts getting into the shoulder area, over the shoulders of the BCC target. And of course I have less slop vertically as well. So what should we care about? Well, for shooting at this distance with 223, more accurate ammo is going to help you more than a tighter standard deviation. That, of course, will change as we get further and further and as we get into different calibers. But for this practical example, I figured it was useful to help inform the priority and maybe make this a little bit simpler so you can worry less about standard deviation. Just make your gun shoot good groups.